Hey guys, welcome back to my Booktube channel. I recently started this channel and I thought it would be a good idea to do some sort of Q&A or video for you to get to know me better and my reading taste, why I've started this channel, everything like that. This is probably going to be similar to the Booktube Newbie tag. I haven't seen the questions in that for a while, so I don't know how much this will overlap with it, but I basically just put together some questions that I thought if I was watching a new booktuber I'd want to know about them. So with all that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is how I started watching booktube. So I started watching in 2020 in the summer after COVID started, and the first channel I actually started watching was Noel Gallagher's channel. I hadn't read in a while, in years actually. I used to like reading when I was younger, but I kind of stopped as I grew up, as I think many of us do, and I just wanted some book recommendations, so I literally went on YouTube and I searched book recommendations, and yeah, that's how I started watching Noel's videos, and I eventually through that discovered booktube. And yeah, since then I watch booktube almost every day, if not every other day. I actually watch it while I'm having a shower. I put my phone, like there's like a cupboard in front of like my shower head, so I always just put it there, and I find it so relaxing. Firstly, I find showers relaxing in itself, but then also watching someone just talk about books is so calming to me, so that's kind of like a ritual I have. In terms of why I started this channel and why at this point, I guess I started it because I have so many thoughts on books and I just felt like I wanted to communicate them with people. I don't know many people in my life who read a lot, and I thought it would be nice to have some sense of community, make friends, hopefully. The reason it's taken me so long to actually start this channel, so I actually wanted to start this channel, well, I first had the idea maybe like a year and a half ago, I think, and I guess what put me off is I value my privacy, and I know booktube's still like a relatively small space in the internet, but the idea that my face, my videos will just be out there forever, like it really scares me still. But I just felt like it was time. Worst comes to worst, I'll just delete all my videos. It's not the end of the world. I'm not taking this too seriously, I'm just doing it for fun. And then the other thing is I'm quite a sensitive person, so I just don't know, and I didn't know how I would deal with like hate, unnecessarily mean comments, things like that. But again, I don't know, I feel a bit more confident in myself now. Maybe that's just me growing up. And worst comes to worst, again, just delete the comments, pretend they never existed. Then I guess another big thing is that I'm a really slow reader, especially compared to, you know, everyone you see on booktube and social media. And so I just didn't know if I'd have enough content to put out. And when I say slow reader, I mean like I read a book or two a month, which, you know, compared to what feels like the rest of the booktube reading like 10 books a month, or sometimes I see people read 4 books a month, and that's a bad month for them, and 4 books a month would be like an amazing month for me. I guess I've just accepted that that's fine. Like every video doesn't have to be about the books that I read. It can be about going book shopping, it can be about books I'm interested in. I also didn't want it to change, but I didn't want booktube to sort of change my reading taste. Like I don't want pressure on my reading. I already feel like I put pressure on myself, and I don't want to get to a place where I'm like, oh, I've got to read this short book when I actually want to read this longer book, because then I'll have more books for a video to post. I just don't want to get into all of that, so I'm going to be super conscious of that. If I feel myself like slipping into those behaviors, I'm really going to try to stop myself. And then I guess another thing relating to, I guess it's just the whole of social media, it's not a booktube thing, but I feel like people are so sensitive to like everything nowadays. So I'm worried that like, say I'm like, oh, I like that Booktubers video, or I really like this book, just innocently, that can always come and bite you later down the line. Like if that booktuber does something controversial like 5 years from now, or if that author did something 10 years ago that you're not aware of, like I think the world just wants you to be aware of every single thing, research everything every author or every person has done in their lives, and I don't do that. I just I look at a book, if I find it interesting I read it. Obviously if I already know that, you know, an author has done something, then I won't pick up the book if it makes me uncomfortable. And with that being said, I thought I would now talk to you about some of my favorite booktubers, people I watch. So like I said, Noelle Gallagher, love her videos. I don't know, I just feel like there's this coziness to her videos, whether that's the aesthetic or just her. Like I said, Emma from the channel Emmy, I get such unique book recommendations from her channel and I find her videos quite calming. Alexandra Roslin, really like her videos too. She has so much energy and I feel like she has some of the like most beautiful bookshelves I've seen, like as a background to a video. Then there are some other people I watch, but I'd say those three are like people I usually don't miss a video off if they post. But other channels I watch are Jasmine Reads, I sometimes watch Carolyn Marie Reads, A Frolic Through Fiction, Mary Amongst Stories, The Book Leo, and who else do I watch? I'd say those are the main ones. I thought I would talk to you about, I guess, like my reading journey in terms of books. I thought it'd be cool to talk about books I used to read as a child. So some of my favorite books growing up were, of course, Harry Potter. You can see my books up there. God, I was such a big Harry Potter fan. I remember we had like a book character day kind of thing at school, and I dressed as Hermione, and this girl in my class dressed as Ginny. Firstly, I made so many people in my class over the years read Harry Potter, so and then so she was dressed as Ginny, and I remember we had like this whole argument, like it was in like our English class or whatever, about who Harry likes more, like Hermione or Ginny. And I was like, well, Hermione's his best friend, Ginny's just his girlfriend, and like we had like this whole debate. But yeah, I love Harry Potter, love the movies. Then if we're talking when I was really young, I used to like this book. I remember this so distinctly. I was in year 3 and you know, there was this like reading shelf and you could like pull out a book and read, you know, reading time. And there was this book about a girl with a ribbon around her neck. Please tell me if any of you know this story. It was like a picture book, like a children's book. And so she had a boyfriend and he always used to be like, why do you have this ribbon around your neck? And she was like, I'll tell you one day. And then they got married and he was like, now can you tell me why you have this ribbon around your neck? And again, she's like, I'll tell you when the time is right or something. And eventually they grow all together and it gets to the point where they're gonna die or something. And he's like, yeah, can you like finally tell me why you have this ribbon around your neck? And she takes the ribbon off and her head falls off. And I used to love that book. then when I was like a bit older, I used to read like the Rainbow Magic books, this series called the Tiara Club, Judy Moody, if you remember that. I used to love Judy Moody. And then I remember reading some Enid Blyton books, so I used to read The Famous Five, The Secret Seven, Nancy Drew. I don't think that's by that author, but I used to read that. Mallory Towers. Yeah, I just miss like that time in my life of reading where it was just these like mystery books with like Nancy Drew with The Famous Five, and there would just be this group of kids like solving mysteries and you just wanted to like do that yourself. Like that was just such a good phase in life. And I thought I would talk to you about some of my favorite reads in recent years. I'm probably going to make a separate video about this, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I'll just list them to you. I've written down a few that stood out to me, so this is just so you know my reading taste and what you're getting into with this channel. So To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, If We Were Villains by Emma Rio, Michelle Obama's autobiography, Becoming. I don't have it here, but I really liked Snow Country by Kawabata. And actually I really like Barack Obama's book too, A Promised Land. Excited for part 2 of that. And then I guess you can kind of tell from that, but some of my favorite genres are modern classics. More recently I've been getting into the what are they called, the Penguin modern classics, the blue ones, because I personally don't gravitate towards like regular classics. When I've tried them, I just find them kind of boring, and I struggle to get into the books or digest the language. But recently I've been getting into modern classics, and I find those way more accessible. Then literary fiction, contemporary fiction. I love dark academia. I haven't actually read that many, but the ones I've read, love them. And then some memoirs, like I said, Michelle and Barack Obama's were good. And I thought I'd talk about rating books. So I personally don't rate books. When I started reading again in 2020, I used to, but I've realized that as the years go on, my reading taste, and as I read more books, I think I have a better understanding of what I think is a good book. And so what I found is that some of the ratings I had given like years ago, they no longer stand. Like those books become less good to me because I've read so many better books, and so my benchmark of what a good book is just goes higher. And so I just don't think it makes sense for me to rate books. Because also sometimes I kind of enjoy a book while I'm reading it, but then afterwards I don't remember it fondly, or it's not memorable to me. So yeah, I'm not going to be rating books. But I think I will say like if I recommend a book or not. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers like how books have sort of been a part of my life and how they continue to be. I just find so much peace around books, whether it's hearing people talk about books or going to a bookstore. Like I could spend hours at a bookstore even if I'm not buying anything. It's just like, it feels like an infinite amount of worlds you can get into, and something about that is so exciting and peaceful to me. So yeah, I hope that helped you get to know me a bit better, and if you would like to, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. But that's all for now, so thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and goodbye.